Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to walk through the AI transformation method and how this is going to help you in both your business and your organization. My name is Michelle Hill, and I am an AI consultant and trainer in the workplace, and I'm also a business coach. But today, we're focusing on the AI transformation method. So let's have a look. What is this method? So to sum it all up, the AI transformation method is when you equip every single employee in your organization, or in the case of a small business, you as the business owner, to produce every single role deliverable faster and easier with AI. And this is the space where transformational productivity gains occur. So, sorry, I just had a frog in my throat. But so you can see here now, these are the sort of gains that we're seeing after 1 hour of training, not after like months and months of work. So as you can see, it is a process that once you get started, you will see quick, immediate returns. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Can AI really help me or my team do their job better? Now, it's been our experience that AI knows your job. Now, I know you're probably thinking, yeah, but I'm different and my job is different and nobody could really understand exactly what I do. But trust me, AI knows pretty well exactly what your job is. And the other thing is, it also knows how it can help you do it faster and easier. So instead of you trying to figure out how can you use AI to do your job faster and easier, AI can actually help you do that process as well. And at the end of the day, for every single deliverable, for every single role in every organization, AI can help do that role faster and easier. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to demonstrate what I mean by AI knows your role and how it can help you do this faster and easier. So now, did that swap to ChatGPT, Jim?
Yes, it did. Yep.
Excellent. We're on a roll. Okay, so let's get started with the demo. So here's my AI assistant, and it's here to help create the first draft, and that's important, the first draft of your AI role plan. Now, normally we might go off and copy somebody's LinkedIn profile or put in a short description of their role, but I just thought for today, what we might do is we'll just put in a role title. And I'm going to use sales manager because that's a role that I'm familiar with, because that was my role for many years. So that we can just see how accurate this is in terms of understanding what the role deliverables are. So when we're talking about our AI role plan, at the top of the table, you can see there's 8 core competencies. So I'm just going to admit somebody from the waiting room. Now, where were we? So we've just started the demonstration of the AI role plan, and what I put in for the benefit of Damien, who's just joined us, is instead of putting in a detailed job description, or we can copy and paste the LinkedIn profile, I've just simply put in sales manager just to give some basic information to get started. So the 8 core competencies that it's identified are sales strategy, CRM, sales performance, forecasting, lead gen, team management, report analysis, and I can never get that across properly. What's the last one? Training and development. And under each of the 8 core competencies, can't even say that. That's terrible. And it's only lunchtime. Um, so underneath each of those, it's then broken it down into 8 core deliverables to achieve that competency. So under sales strategy, you've got things like sales strategy documents, territory management plan, competitor analysis, sales performance has sales KPIs, etc. Now, the next step is out of that matrix of 64 role deliverables, we can choose any one of these and we can do a dive into what it actually looks like to do this and then how AI can help us. So let's have a look at, maybe we might choose sales productivity reports. So let's do a dive into that and see what comes up. And what you'll notice is when we're doing these demos, it's usually taking me longer to explain what I'm doing. Oh, I thought it wasn't going to run. Then I was like, oh no, I was just saying how fast it is. Would you like me to create a detailed outline of this report? And I'm going to say yes, please. So here we have an outline for a sales productivity report. And like, this is the big picture overview. And a lot of people would say, well, how useful is that? Well, if you don't have something like this in your organization already, this is going to be useful right from the get-go. And you would be surprised how many organizations don't have anything like this documented. But now what we're going to do is we're going to create an SOP for that. So again, now you're starting to create, and as I said, there's 64 different things here that, if I spoke to a sales manager, they might say, well, I don't do all of that in my role. But the thing is, you could, and you could improve your role. And if you can save time on some processes, then you can expand and enrich your role by doing some of the things that you currently don't have time to do. So now we have the SOPs, and this is how you would go about doing this. And are we ready to move on? And I'm just going to say yes. So this is where AI is actually going to tell us how it could help the sales manager be more effective.
Wow.
And it's broken each step up into what can ChatGPT do, what could a VA trained in ChatGPT or a lower paid employee do, and what you as the human in the loop still need to do. So you can see it's quite detailed. And please feel free, because we're a small group today, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question as we run through.
Hey, Michelle. Yeah,
sometimes I get carried away and I forget to check the chat. Yes, Jim?
I can create this on my own right now, all of this? Or no, this is in your system that's got it's already an educated platform.
Yeah, this is actually a GPT that has been created, so I can walk you through. When we go to do yours, we would do a workshop, and we would put the information in, and then we would work on, you would actually then talk to the GPT and say, okay, now I do this, I don't do that, take that out, put this in. And that's how we fine tune it right down into your role.
Yeah.
So for argument's sake, I just put in sales manager as a demonstration here. When we do the full black belt training, we actually teach you how to create these GPTs, so that instead of relying on having a tool that's already made, if something comes up in the future, an issue in your business that you hadn't anticipated, instead of having to go and find a tool that might help you, you would have the skills to actually create the tool and work through the problem. So what we've got now is the standard operating procedure for doing this process has been created, and ChatGPT has given us options of how it can help, how a VA trained in ChatGPT can help, and also what the human in the loop still needs to do, because we're not trying to take people out of their roles. We're trying to enhance their productivity by AI supporting them. So now what it's going to do is, if you were working through this yourself, what AI will do now is tell you when you go to create each of those 11 steps, and it's not going to do it today, so now I'm embarrassed because it's not happy, or it doesn't like my internet or something. Come on, come on, come on, come on. No, yes. All right. Okay, there's an awkward pause here because this does happen sometimes. Essentially what would happen is we would continue to move through. It would give you, like, if this was real life, I would just start it again. For the sake of the presentation, I'm going to keep moving, but essentially then you would have the prompts to do all of the activities that it's suggested that you need to do. So you would work through and do that. So I'll get into it a bit further in a minute, but when we do the training, then we work on a role deliverable as we do the training as well. So you can choose which ones you work on. And what we normally suggest is pick the low-hanging fruit first, the one that's going to give you the best outcome. So I'm just going to switch back to the presentation, and I hope everyone can see that.
Yep.
So how is our method different? So we can take you from 0 to productivity gains in the very first hour of our training session. And these results that you see here, this is the actual results that we collected from a cohort after they'd done the first session of the training. So these are annualized savings in time, and also we've worked out first hour gains. And this is all based on an average, I think, of somebody who earns 100,000 a year. So it's all, it's averages and like a little bit underestimated probably, because a lot of people get paid more than that. But you can see that the variety of roles here and the deliverable they worked on and the time they saved, which has then been translated into the amount of money that represents. And we're not going to ignore, there's quite often, as most people would know, when you do training sessions, there is usually one person who is skeptical or fearful or not really wanting to participate. And, as you can see, this is what's happened here. But like for us, what that is that when the penny drops, when everything clicks in, the people who are the biggest detractors at the start generally become the biggest supporters. And that was the case for this particular company. The person who was the biggest detractor at the start actually became the biggest advocate of the whole training, and went on to find lots more productivity gains for themselves. Now, I've missed out. Sorry. I just jumped. Oh, God. Sorry, guys.
The express version.
I know. Normally I'm way more professional than this, but, you get that. So what's in it for you? A more efficient, engaged, and effective team if you are working in a team. But for you as a solopreneur, if you're working by yourself, you become more effective and efficient. And these these results here again, this is one of the unique aspects about our training is that we have 8 sessions, so we take you from white belt to black belt. After each belt, we actually get you to submit a transformation report and a video of what you've actually done this week, implementing what you've learned. So, and then at the end of the training, we survey everybody. So this is the average results of people who've been surveyed at the end of the 8 weeks training. And you can see here in the efficiency, engagement, and effectiveness areas, we've got some really quite high scores. In particular, AI has helped me to be more creative in my role. And in part, that comes about because once you have ways to save time and boost your productivity, you can just keep that window of time and use it to be more strategic and more creative. Now, what I'm also going to show you now is something similar to the AI role plan creation, but this is another GPT that this was written by one of the people in the cohort who'd been through the black belt training and actually owns his own marketing agency. So I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to swap back over to ChatGPT and I'm going to find the right GPT. So this has been written for, this is going to give you an example of how you can create GPTs that will help you ongoing in your role. Now, this is meant to create email sequences based on your ideal customer profile. Now, normally with a marketing agency, when you have a new client, you have to spend time getting to understand their customers, and that can involve quite a time-consuming process in terms of interviewing customers and things like that. But what I'm going to show you now is what was written to actually walk through this sequence. And again, I remind you, at the end of our training, you'll be able to create things like this for yourself.
Cool.
So it's introducing itself and it's asking me to tell me more about the product, the result it achieves for your clients, and the role of the person you're selling it to. Now, I copied in, this is what I do. So I thought we would use that just as something interesting to look at. So what we're going to do, and this is what I was talking about, like with a marketing agency, they need to understand like who the customer is that all of this content is aimed at. So we're going to get the psychology expert to go through. Now, what you can see is they're generating a report that's summarizing what are the dreams of the customer, like increased productivity, immediate ROI, perhaps being the industry leader. What are the past failures? They might have tried AI training in the past, getting employees to adopt it, not having a clear way of measuring the return that they've paid for, some fears, employee resistance, that it's going to be too difficult. And trust me, once you get into it, it can be frustrating, but it's not difficult. Because sometimes it takes a while to get it to do what you want. What are some of the suspicions? What are the doubts that are going through the customer's mind? Is this just a trend? Is there a catch? And what are the enemies? What are the potential blockers that may prevent them from moving forward? It might be time commitments. And this is one of the biggest conundrums that I find is that people say, well, we don't have time to do this training, but this is the training that's going to give you back some of your time. So it's a difficult one to solve, but sometimes, you just have to make time. Now we're going to go to a brand story expert. So what we're doing here is we're coordinating the input from a number of different roles. So we'll let the brand expert do its magic. So now they're creating the hero's journey. So you've got your target audience, you've got your problems, you've got the guide, who is your company. We give them a plan, we call them to action, we help them avoid failure, and it all ends in success. So that's all the context behind what would normally happen in a marketing agency before they actually started to create any content for their client. So now we're ready to actually get started. So now we're going to get the copywriters to actually start creating for us. Now, what do we want? We want, let's have 3 emails, and we'll go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And you can see I've just abbreviated Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but it actually knows what I'm talking about. So now it's creating a series of 3 emails that I could send out to my potential customers. But this is the interesting thing, like when the first draft, when you get content out, sometimes it's quite good, 75, 80% there. Sometimes it's around about 60%, 65% or whatever, if you could actually measure it. But you know that content where you think, yeah, it's on the right track, but it's not great yet. Well, you can actually get AI to critique the work that it's just done for you and offer and suggest improvements. So now we're going to get the creative director to review the work it's just put in. And now we've come back with, here's some suggestions for improvements. So now that goes back to the copywriter. And what you'll find is, just by doing that extra run through, you've probably got it up to around about 90% there. I mean, as I said before, we still need the human in the loop, and you still need to edit it and make sure that, you know, this is how you want it to be presented. But let's wrap up the project and let's just have a little look at if that had actually been done in real life, what sort of time frame it would have taken. So, and then so you've got the customer psychology expert, the brand story expert, the copywriter, and the creative director. So they're estimating that the total time it would have taken was 47 hours. It's taken us less than 5-6 minutes to do, and I've been talking and explaining what it's doing. But you can see here, that's the sort of money that the customers would have been paying. So people who are in marketing agencies are really going to, in the coming few years, are really going to have to think about how they deal with their clients, because if their clients know that they can use AI and produce deliverables in much less time, there needs to be like a real rethink of strategy. And again, as we all know, AI is not perfect at this stage, but it is pretty close in a lot of ways. Now, how do we know this is real? Now, I'm partnered with Simple Academy, which is a group of over 100 AI trainers and consultants. And at the beginning of the year, when we first introduced the black belt training, we thought we were training people ready for the future, like ready for when like ChatGPT 5 arrives and, you know, the next big change and all that sort of stuff. And then only a couple of months ago, one of our consultants, when he got his cohort to the blue belt, actually thought to ask them, like, let's measure it, like fill out this form, tell me how much time you've saved. And like the improvements and the time saved were really quite amazing. And for a little bit, we were thinking, okay, well, you know, it'll take people till they're halfway through the training before they actually start to see some real productivity gains. Until one of my colleagues actually in Victoria here in Australia, when she was taking a new cohort through, she started measuring from the white belt, which is the first hour that you train with us, and discovered that, you know, even at that level, when you're just understanding how to use all the tools, you can find massive productivity improvements. So from our point of view, the tipping point, you know, for that massive quick productivity gains is already here, not coming, you know, with the next iteration of ChatGPT or any of the other large language models, which I didn't mention that, but what I'm showing you today is like we're working in ChatGPT, but all of this can be done on any of the other platforms. It's just prompts and language and learning how to put all this together. So many organizations are actually considering AI, and lots of people like yourself are, hey, yeah, I need to get in on this. I need to understand it. I need to do this, but they're not actually sure where to start, how, you know, and what is the best way. And what we've really found is if you focus on the tools, and I mentioned this before, if you focus on the tools and not the people in the process, that's the areas where people start to think, okay, well, this tool and this tool and this tool, they're just trying to replace me. Whereas when you look at the way ChatGPT assists and supports you in your role, it is actually enhancing what you do. It's not designing itself to replace your role. So when people can have that, I guess it's a light bulb moment where they get the fact that there's still always going to be a human in the loop, and that we can actually help, you know, people who are stressed and overworked, maybe even just bring their working hours back to normal rather than working, you know, 50, 60 hours a week. When that becomes clear, then you get people who are really engaged and they want to be part of the whole process. And who's to blame? Well, I'm not sure what your social media feed looks like, but particularly on LinkedIn, for me, because of the area I work in, every second post is, you know, buy this tool. Here's the 15 tools that you need to use to produce this. Or, you know, if you're a marketer, you've got to have all of these tools. And, you know, I've got 10,000 prompts that are going to help you make, you know, $1 million overnight and all this sort of stuff. A lot of that is hype. I'm not saying that in and of themselves, you know, having prompts and ideas and using a tool is a bad thing, but it's limiting. Like for me, I see people offering, you know, I can send you a PDF with 1,000 prompts in it. You know, my first question would be, well, how do I know which prompt to choose? And that's why when I was showing you the demonstration before, we're actually asking AI to give us the prompts that we needed to do the next step and the next step and the next step. And that all the hype that we see in the marketplace, I guess that's kind of masked the productivity tipping point that we've recognized. And I feel like that's why our process and our training is quite different. So why now? Well, if you're in an organization, this is your once in a lifetime opportunity to become the AI hero in your organization. If you are a business owner, a small business owner, I see this as your chance to actually become the industry hero and become the industry disruptor. Because if you're doing this and your competitors are not, you will have a clear advantage. And guess what? it is going to happen. You know, if you take the lead and do it now, you will be at the forefront. If you wait, someone else will do it, and then you will be playing catch up. Not to sound too dire. Now, why should you trust me? Because some of you don't even know me. This is the first time you've met me. I've been in your shoes, and one of the reasons that I partnered with Simple Academy is because we're a community of over 100 fractional executives who are AI trainers and consultants as well. So we have a vast pool of experience to draw on, but we all started at the point of, well, you know, what do we do? Where do we start? Are there really any benefits? How do we actually prove that if we teach people how to use ChatGPT, that there will be a benefit or a return on investment? So this is how it works in 3 simple steps. First of all, we would create your specific role plan. So that's this bit in here, and I think I've got it on the next slide. Yes. I'll just bring it up a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. Now, this is based on a corporate controller, so that's why you can see all of that. So the first step is we complete the masterclass and set up your role plan. So that's working on getting this section here as close as possible to what you actually do in your business or in your role. And then the second step is we then go through and we actually teach you all the skills you need to make progress. So when you see the stepwise process from white belt through to black belt, so the first thing is, you know, actually understanding how all the different ways that you can interact with ChatGPT and what is actually possible. I was talking to somebody this morning who said to me, "Oh, I want to try and create some content for my new landing page that I've developed. How do I copy the landing page into ChatGPT and do all that?" And I said, "Well, all you have to do is give it the URL, and it can analyze the website for you." And then we had a graphic of his that he wanted to make sure that the content on the graphic had been included, and he was going to like try and summarize it and whatever. And I said, no, you just need to take a screenshot and just drop that in the chat and say, analyze the slide for me and outline the information that's on there and make sure you include it in the content. So even when you start to learn what tools are available, immediately you can start saving yourself time. And then we work through using AI in your role, how to use it as a cognitive assistant, how to start building the smaller GPTs. And then when you get to the blue belt, how to link them together and think about how to break down a big process and write different GPTs for it. Looking at the future of your role, and then working with AI agents, which is our brown belt. So the marketing agency tool that I demonstrated for you, that's working with an AI agent that you would have built yourself, and each of those specific roles that has a GPT sitting underneath it. And the final thing in the black belt is then we teach you about automation. So how you can link your ChatGPT to other software programs so that then they can talk to each other and save you even more time. And then step number 3 is creating that accountability and measuring the results. So the 2 slides I showed you before with the actual measurements of the ROI, but also, you know, how people are feeling about using AI. So each time we finish a belt session training, you will have homework, and you choose one of your role deliverables and you demonstrate that the skill we've just taught you, you demonstrate it using that role deliverable. And then you fill out your transformation report. This is how much time it took before. This is the time after. This is how I'm feeling about it. These are my thoughts. Here is a video of me actually doing that so that you know that I haven't just sat there and listened to what you said. I am actually capable of doing this now. And that's a really important step because each session builds on the previous session. So we can't keep going through session after session and getting to, say, the brown belt and assuming that you'll be able to do that if you haven't done the homework before. Now, how do you get started? Well, for you guys, step one is we sign you up to our platform, and there is a pre-recorded 3-hour masterclass there for you, which goes into a lot deeper, all of the stuff that I've talked about today. And then after that, you would be ready to do your AI role plan workshop with me. And then we would then move on to the black belt training course. And during the black belt training, we would then tackle 8 of the role deliverables that you've identified in your role plan. After we finish the black belt training, then you can systematically work your way through the rest of them. And you know, the further you get into the process, you know, probably it's the law of diminishing returns. But once you have done all of that, then you can actually we have a role designation certification that you can get. So after each of the belts that you complete, you get a certificate, and then at the end of the black belt training, you're also certified in AI usage as well. So that you've got something to show people as well that, you know, if you're going for a different role, or if you want a promotion within the company that you're in, or you're looking to partner with somebody else from a business perspective, it puts you in a much better position in that you now have like verified skills that you can bring to the table. So what are your options? Well, there's 3 things you could do. One is you could do nothing and let somebody else be the AI hero in your organization or in your industry. And number 2 is you could learn it yourself. But what you're seeing, what I'd like to suggest is that all of what you're seeing today is the culmination of 18 months work that's been put together. And you know, it's not rocket science. You would figure it out yourself eventually. But again, it's chicken and egg. Like, do you want to spend all that time doing that? Or you could take the AI transformation method masterclass, and the way that you sign up for that is you just jump onto this link here, which I will put in the chat if I can. Let's see if I can manage this without cutting us off and doing something silly. So if you would like to do that, there's the link. The platform itself is regularly $2,000 a year. Signing up today using that link, you will have 12 months access for free. After that, if you choose to continue, you will be charged for the platform. And if you do the training with me, the black belt training, which we pay for, you need to we will upgrade your platform so that covers the cost of the certification and the processing of the videos and all that sort of stuff. Normally what I'm doing at the moment is, because the original platform is free for 12 months, If you upgrade and you're doing training with me and we need the paid platform, I will be including that in your cost of your training. So that means if you do the black belt training with me, then whatever you pay now gives you access for 12 months. So I am actually just going to stop the recording there.